Hello. Are you getting sick of me yet today? This is officially the third time I am live on this page today. And I didn't change outfits just to stay consistent. I am here now, this time, to come to you live with a story of hope. So if you don't know what my stories of hope are, head over to my website. I have an entire blog dedicated to my stories of hope. And sometimes I have the honor that a client actually wants to come live with me on this page and share their story with you. So we are going to wait for my client Luciana to come on. Let me just make sure. I don't see her yet. But while she gets here, I want to share a little bit about her case. Pull up her new patient paperwork. So she came to me at the age of 36. She had a known condition of, let me just see. So this is not a hot seat, so I'm only going to wait for Luciana to join me. My team, just making sure. I don't see my team yet. Making sure. We're supposed to be on Instagram, right? I'm assuming my Google Calendar made it seem like it was Instagram. Let's just make sure, guys. But I'll still tell you the case. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will invite, I'm going to invite you to join live, but I think you have to, let me just see. I'm going to search Luciana, see if she comes up. No, she's not on yet. Okay, that's all right. We will wait for her. Okay, so it's supposed to be on Instagram. We're just waiting for her. Okay. So a little bit about her case. 36. Actually, she signed up for coaching with me after having had a miscarriage, and she'll tell you some of this too. But she bought my book, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, and as she said in her little write-up that she sent over before we went live, that it was the first thing that gave her hope, and she devoured it. She was already gluten-free because she's had celiac for over 10 years, so she's had that diagnosis, and then more recently got a diagnosis of Hashimoto's. Doctors were telling her there was nothing wrong with her. When we did do our first call, she was actually pregnant. Sadly, she miscarried soon after. So then that became her second miscarriage. And let me just pull up her notes here. Let's see. We will... so when I met her... Let's see. In the question, I send a questionnaire and new patient paperwork to every single new client that I work with. If you could get rid of one health-related thing forever, what would it be? Brain fog, autoimmunity. It's the worst. It impacts my job, gives me anxiety. So right there, when I see brain fog, I automatically think autoimmunity, which she obviously does already have. She got a diagnosis, but still inflammation. It's not managed autoimmunity, right? And you guys have heard me talk about this ad nauseum. I think many women dealing with unexplained infertility have a pre-existing or a mismanaged autoimmune condition or an inflammatory condition. What was she seeking from me? To help coach me to the proper diet and eating plan to help me heal the root cause of my autoimmunity, Hashimoto's and celiacs. Help me get to the root of the problem, heal leaky gut so I can feel good and my body can support a healthy pregnancy. Once I get pregnant, understand what I should be eating to support myself and new baby. Also know what healthy diet I should have thereafter. So she did also say the last time she felt healthy, because I always ask this question, was when she was in college, 14 years ago. She's gone through a lot, on the emotional front, which I won't overshare. I want her to share whatever she's comfortable with. Do you feel like the main health challenge you're facing is ruining your life? It's not ruling my life. It's not ruling my life, but it impacts my life. I still feel many underlying symptoms of Hashimoto's despite being on medication. Also, I got pregnant after 7 months of trying, which was longer than expected, and then miscarried. I'm frustrated that I'm not getting pregnant faster, despite Reading Yes You Can Get Pregnant, increasing protein, reducing sugar, cutting soy, and recently dairy, and taking all the supplements. Anybody can relate? Frustrated for not getting pregnant when you've made all these changes? Anyone relate? Anyone relate? Do you like your body? I love my body. It feels strong and resilient, but I can tell it's hurting and things are out of whack. I have digestive issues, which tell me something is up. My temperature is out of whack, too hot at night, then too cold quickly, cold hands and feet, brain fog, concentration. There she is, young lady. Concentration issues. So I'm going to wave at you, Luciana, and then request to join me, and I will put you through. Or I guess I can also put through a request to you. Let me see. Now I can, now that you're on. I'm just giving everyone the backstory on you. It's not letting me find you. So can you request to join me live, love? Just the little plus at the bottom. Hi, love. Do you see where you can request? Let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. No, I can't. Beth, I can't seem to ask her to join. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Send request. I'm requesting you to join me live. I'm so excited to see your pretty face. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, that's okay. Technical difficulties happen. And I always like a little backstory with sharing. I just hit the button to ask her to join. Let's see. Why is it not happening? There we go. Send request. Okay. I sent you the request to join live. So you should just accept the request, and then we should be good to go. Let's see. Technical difficulties are a part of life with technology, so all good. So, but when she did come to me, don't see the request. Okay, that's weird. Can you ask to join me live? So there should be a button on yours that's like a little, it looks like a little camera with a plus button. Can you hit that? And it should say request to join Amy live, and then I'll accept you. Oh, it's unable to join. Why is that? Huh. Says you're unable to join. I wonder if this is going to be a similar issue to what we had last week, Beth, with like an older version of Instagram. You can request to join. Scroll to the top of the comments or push the plus button at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to keep talking while we figure this out. So she did say, I love my body. I feel strong and resilient, but I feel like something's out of whack. And you guys have heard me say this many times. I trust where you're at. I trust your feelings. Do you feel in sync with your body? Yes. My body, yeah, I wonder if there's an older version of Instagram. I might have to update Instagram on your phone, the app. Let's see. I don't know if you want to do that, if you want to sign off, and I can continue to introduce the case and see if you have to update the app. You just go into your app store and see if there's an update. I keep getting the red thing that you're unable to join. So I think that you don't have the most up-to-date version of Instagram, which just happened to us last week. I think it's like a new rollout. Yeah, so you can sign off and then close the app, go to your app store, look for updates, update the app, and come back on if you don't mind. I will still finish us up at 3:45. And I'm going to keep talking about your case, and then I'm going to let you come on and share. So I started keeping a health journal, really pay attention to things, track my symptoms. Working from home due to COVID has given me lots of time for self-care, which I'm grateful for. So on her new patient paperwork, she tells me, you know, since she's read Yes You Can Get Pregnant, she, oh, there we go. You're here. Yay. Let's see. Wait, just did it on the phone. Yeah, I think it worked. Let's see. I think I just accepted you. Oh, were you on the computer? Yeah, the lives won't work on Instagram from the computer, only from the phone. That's why it wasn't working. Let's see. There we, hi.
Hi.
We did it. Yeah, sorry. That's Instagram won't let you go live from a computer. Who knows why?
Ah, I see. So I'm on the phone.
There we
That
go.
works.
So am I. How are you? It's so good to see
Good. So
you.
nice to see you too.
I know. Thank you so much for doing this. I
Of
so appreciate
course.
it. And I was just going through kind of like the backstory a bit about the celiacs and the hashis and um, yeah, and the miscarriages, right? When we
Yeah.
first, because well, why don't you introduce yourself and say what you want to say, and then we'll just kind of like get into it, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Luciana. I'm so happy to be here today. I started working with Amy basically because I had one miscarriage and was having trouble getting pregnant. And then actually the first day that we scheduled to work together, I found out I was pregnant again, but then a few days later had a second miscarriage. So it was just kind of a this devastating roller coaster of emotions. And the second miscarriage was just kind of like I felt like the universe was stepping on my face.
Yeah.
It was the worst feeling. But regardless, already having had one devastating miscarriage, I wanted the support of Amy, you know, regardless. But then after the second, it was like, okay, I really need to
Yeah.
be doing this work to make me feel confident and help me to enjoy the pregnancy and not just be terrified every single day.
Yeah, so there were two pregnancies, right? It was May and then September, basically,
Yep.
right? And it was
Yep.
7 months of trying to conceive to get pregnant in May. Then
Mm-hmm.
you read, yes, you can get pregnant, what, like June, July, and then
Yep.
got pregnant again in September. It
Yep.
was September 4th, 2020 when we talked. And
Yep.
pregnant right now, just took a test this morning. Period was due on 9/7. Oh, that's probably not true. The date of the paperwork was 9/4. I think we talked a couple of days later. And then I remember our emails and all that back and forth since our last call 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that you were pregnant, and then you got a period a couple of days later. So you got the positive, and then the period came.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I mean, I like what you wrote up here too. That you dove into, yes, you can get pregnant after the first miscarriage, and then decided to start working with me. And yeah, maybe talk a little bit about like the dietary stuff and the changes there, because you had already had celiac, so gluten was
Yep.
easy peasy for you.
Yep.
But then the diagnosis of the Hashimoto's, and I can't remember, did my book encourage you to get the Hashimoto's diagnosis, or did your doctors look into that? I can't remember.
Yeah, I already had that. And my doctors, they actually picked it up in my kind of, what was it, preconception blood work. When I said I was ready to start trying, they were like, okay, let's test you out. And then it came up. So I had already been taking levothyroxine
Right.
daily. But then I also was reading more about the hashis and what that means for diet and lifestyle. And I really enjoyed, her book is on my shelf. I could see it. Isabella's book on the
Yeah, Isabella
Hashimoto's
Wentz. Yeah, she's a
protocol.
great book. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I started seeing, maybe there's more to this. And I remember we discussed some of the, elimination diet. And what I really appreciated about working with you was I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to get pregnant. If I need to do like a super hardcore elimination diet, let's do this. I was really gearing up, but you were so compassionate. You were like, look, you've really been through a lot. Let's
Yeah.
start slowly.
And also, because your food, like, I mean, I have your diary from like our very first conversation. It's like, food wise, she was eating all organic. She was starting her day with hot water and lemon. You were eating within an hour after taking your thyroid. Then you were doing a smoothie every morning, clean protein powder, spirulina, avocado, banana, chia seeds, spinach, almond milk. Like, you were eating awesome. Salad, spinach with tuna, garbanzo or black, cucumber, walnuts, fermented foods, usually feels good sometime, but last week you had horrible brain fog. So that was like the biggest thing, that brain fog, we couldn't figure that out. And we still had a harder time figuring it out, but then you went and got pregnant, and it was like, it probably moved to the back burner a bit. Then your snack was fruit or nuts, sometimes a protein shake, coconut almond, matcha for focus. And I sent you my matcha recipe. And then we talked about how you ate a lot of bell peppers for a snack for dinner. Remember, we were talking about nightshades. Yeah. And then dinner was always protein, veg, and a green, all cooked in a good fat coconut oil. So yeah, I mean, what you'd been through, and I think also seeing how hard you were working. Like sometimes I do it one of two ways, and I remember telling you it's like sometimes we just back into the diet because you're so close. It's more just like removing a few things versus
Hmm.
going on, a super intense like egg quality diet, for 100 days. So I said less
Hmm.
cold and raw, add in bone broth, and maybe do a week of no beans and no bell peppers or nightshades.
Hmm.
And then, you had kept a food diary for me, cold hands and feet. But so then the next time we talk, oh yeah, and the MTHFR. So you didn't know about that mutation, right? And so then
Right.
we did the genetics with you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that
can talk
was,
about
I
that.
didn't
Yeah,
know
that was,
about any of
yeah.
that until we worked together.
And that was a big eye opener for you of like, could this have been
Absolutely.
the reasons for the losses? Because I
Yep.
feel like you were on Mega Foods Baby and Me prenatal though. But were you on that for that first pregnancy?
Nope.
Or were you on a folic acid? Yeah. So I think you
Folic acid.
switched. Yeah. So it might not have been enough time to have methylfolate build up in your body for you to create and then to have all the choline too. And then let's see.
Yeah, and about the choline, I was not a fan of eating eggs all the time. I would eat them every once in a while. But then with you, I was like, nope, got to get these eggs in every day.
That's right. And then the next time we talked, we did the 23andMe report. I put you on the MethylGuard Plus, one every 3 days, and that was interesting too. Maybe talk about that. Remember how you had some interesting, I think, and intense reactions to both L.Ac and MethylGuard Plus, right? Weren't those the two
Yes.
that we had to like slow back on you? Like we had to
Yeah.
pull those basically because you were super sensitive, and we see that. In people with MTHFR, and I think you have the COMT as well. I don't think I've ever written down, but maybe talk about that, because you were so in touch with your body that you were like, do you remember? I remember
Yeah.
you emailing me like, I don't feel good on this MethylGuard Plus, and then you also had that you got some pains in the side.
Hmm.
But anyway, I think it shows too that we just kind of worked it through together to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, with
and
the MethylGuard, I didn't realize that I probably just had too much because there was already some in the
in the
prenatal.
in the
And so I
prenatal.
wasn't adding that into the pure supplement. So then I had that crazy reaction and I was like, whoa, I had, what was it? Hypermethylation.
Hypermethylation.
Yeah,
Yeah. You emailed me and I was like, okay, pull
that's
back,
it.
But I see it a lot too with the MethylGuard Plus, like the dosing on the bottle is 3 a day. And so, even though, I usually say take 1 a day, but if a woman maybe isn't working with a practitioner and just goes and gets that because she finds out she has the MTHFR, she could give herself
Mhm.
hypermethylation symptoms, and that's not a fun way to live, right? Especially like you were having anxiety and worry, and it really does trigger all of those things as well. So that
Yeah.
wasn't fun for you. Um, and so yeah, on that second call, we kind of just talked, or this was your third call actually. We talked a lot about like giving yourself grace, the frustration, the anxiety, the uncertainty, because there was stuff
Yeah.
going on too. Like you were selling a home, right? Looking for
Yeah.
another home. You guys moved, right? And you bought a home. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. In my new office right now.
Yay.
Yeah.
But maybe, I know you mentioned that kind of in the write up that you shared with me, but maybe address some of the emotional stuff where you felt like the support was, I don't know, how it helped you.
Yeah, definitely. It was so helpful because at that time, it's like I was trying to just make all these changes to say, look, I want to build a family. I want to have my baby. And I'd been living in this awesome, super cool urban condo for the past 8 years. And with COVID being home, I was like, okay, I just want like more space for the baby. I really want to, have a nice nursery to welcome my child in. I love decorating and I love artsy stuff. So for me, that was, a
Yeah.
fun creative outlet. So I just had, all of these desires to take this big step forward in my life. And while I was trying to get pregnant and have the baby, I was also trying to, look for a new home. And it seemed like both things weren't happening.
Yeah.
There were challenges in selling my condo. The market was going crazy for buying. And then, with miscarriages, I was kind of like, gosh, why can't I move forward in my life? I want to so badly, but these are things that I can't control. I can't control the housing market. I can't control, who wants to buy my condo. And at the same time, it was like, you know, even my body, I'm doing all these things, but I can't necessarily control it. So there was a lot of frustration and a lot of uncertainty and anxiety and just kind of this thinking of like, why can't I just do the things and kind of get to the other side of the rainbow?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I read, you know, even Michelle Obama's book, you know, she went through this, that, you know, often in life, when you're the kind of person that makes plans and does things and can set a goal and achieve it, it can just be very frustrating when you feel like you're doing the same thing, but, you know, you're not getting pregnant, or the pregnancy isn't, you know, isn't staying. So that it was really helpful to, you know, just have these conversations with you, in addition to having a therapist to talk to. So I felt like I needed a lot of support, and I reached out and I got the support that I needed.
Yeah, you know, I think that's another thing to like highlight about you, and from the get-go was like you kind of came in knowing what you needed, knowing what you wanted, super in touch, and like super ready to execute, which, you know, makes my job a hell of a lot easier, to be very honest. But the in touchness part, and then just kind of working through, and also I think, yeah, you being so in touch and you were able to be vulnerable and share your frustrations, and then, you know, also see what your body was going through, and the changes you were making and how they were impacting you. So then you like fully commit. Right, I have some of your food diaries, but I feel like you fully commit to no dairy, because you were still having some, right? I remember some food diaries, and you would be like out to dinner one night, and there would be like nachos or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
the dairy was rough. It was really rough.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, you didn't
that was
love
the
me.
hardest.
Not everybody loves me during that time. And then the peppers, and then I feel like, let's see. So then, you know, a lot of our communication is via email too at one point. So I'm like looking at emails, and it's like, things were shifting in you. You didn't have a lot of, if you will, like red flag symptoms. You go back to your original paperwork right here. Well, you did have a good amount. Dry eyes, ringing ears, dry skin, allergies, asthma, cold hands and feet, indigestion, gas, nighttime urination, joint pain, stiffness, too hot. And so how did you notice your symptoms start to shift when you kind of stepped into all of the recommendations? Do you remember?
I noticed the biggest change in my skin.
Yeah.
Skin was not as dry. I remember being shocked that I didn't need lotion.
Right. Wow.
It was like, wow, my skin is like naturally hydrating itself. It's so great. And then even itchiness in my skin, that went away.
Yeah. And the brain fog, did that start to lift?
Oh, yes. Yes, that really improved.
And then that helped with the anxiety, because the brain fog would give you anxiety about work performance, right?
Yes.
Like that whole, your skin is glowing today, Mama. I agree. Your skin is glowing. It was so pretty. And then, so we started working together in September. You were pregnant then, another miscarriage. And then 2 months later, right? November?
Yep.
We did it again. She sends me an email, positive pregnancy test Sunday, November 8th, 2020. So with 4 O's, I got a positive pregnancy test yesterday. That's getting pregnant on the second try after the miscarriage in September. We were feeling very fertile. Which again, remember, she was not feeling very fertile because it took 7 months that first time around. Yeah. But of course, I'm terrified for the potential of another loss. I'm seeing my OBGYN on Wednesday to do the beta test. Until then, I wanted to review, confirm, modify my supplements. We had you on the cod liver oil, the D, the spirulina, your prenatal, your Dr. Ron's liver pills, your sunflower lecithin if you weren't eating the eggs. So she, again, like was nailing it. You took that MTHFR guide that I share with everybody, and you went to town with it. And then we stopped the Methylguard Plus because you were feeling that insomnia, hypermethylation. And you stopped the L.Ac because you had that bad reaction of the severe nausea, which I found it was so interesting. I haven't ever seen it again, but it's like for me on my radar too now. Of it must have done something to your body was processing it differently. You were doing acupuncture once a week. I feel like this will give me extra support. And then I wrote back and I said all your supplements were good, and I wanted you to add in the low dose aspirin, right?
Yes.
And don't stop until you're through the first trimester. And then I said it again at the end, and take the baby aspirin, please. I was very redundant.
Yeah.
And then a bit scared of taking low dose aspirin is what you had said to me. And I understood it because we had the hypermethylation symptoms from the Methylguard Plus. The
Mm-hmm.
NAC did not make you feel good. And then it was
Okay.
yet like another kind of foreign thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you were scared and you took low dose aspirin the month before. And you remember you felt pregnancy symptoms the month before, but then you got a
Yes.
period. So
Yep.
I feel like that was like a chemical that was trying to happen. We often see that in the months leading up to the actual pregnancy we get to take home.
Mm-hmm.
And then this month you had the very similar pregnancy symptoms and you didn't take the baby aspirin. So you were afraid to reintroduce it. And I totally
Mm-hmm.
understood that. But I think I was, and then you were a little concerned about the liver. Um, and and I was a little pushy. I was like, I don't want you to have another loss. So to me, taking the baby aspirin is a no-brainer, has zero side effects, and can be the missing link. So my
Yep.
advice is to take it daily, but you have to do what feels best for you. I will support you either way. I've just been down this road too many times, and I don't want you to have another loss.
I remember
And
that email, and that was very helpful for me.
the tough love isn't always easy for me, but sometimes it's like, I put on, I mean, you're a professional too. I put on my hat where I'm like, she's paying me for a service. I have to show up and tell her how I feel. And then I talked to you about nutrition, vitamin A in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were feeling good. And then we were able to go on, let's see, overall you were feeling really good. I'm trying to see when some great news. I made it past the first sonogram and heard the heartbeat. Doctor said
Yeah.
all looks good. I'm now 7 weeks and 3 days pregnant. You had a bit of spotting, which totally freaked you out. Do you remember that?
Oof. Yeah. Very scary.
And then you do the thyroid panel and the vitamin D and the ferritin. We had to increase the levothyroxine, remember? So same thing. I
Yep.
do think that those are like critical things when working with me. I think you would have, knowing you would have probably been on top of it, or maybe your doctor, but a lot of docs don't check the thyroid in the beginning of pregnancies.
Mm-hmm.
And we often need to increase medications. And sometimes that can play a role in the miscarriage and the health of the pregnancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you had sent me your thyroid panel here. And then, so there's some questions. How do you get your husband on board with the healthy eating habits? You guys were pretty healthy to begin with, but maybe share, how did that work in your house?
Yeah, so I definitely do a lot more than he does. He does not do the smoothies. I actually made them for him for a while and he liked it, but he was like, just not my thing. So he just respects what I eat. Like we have different breakfasts. Sometimes we have different lunch. Sometimes I will make him the salads and he likes them. But then for dinner, it's pretty kind of straightforward. I love to cook. So I cook healthy things and he likes it. But it's just kind of like, I respect what he eats for breakfast and he respects what I eat and it's
And
cool.
that's the key. I actually came up earlier today in office hours in the eCourse where, one of the girls in the group is having a hard time in her relationship. And some other practitioner told her it's very difficult to conceive if you and your husband are fighting a lot or not on the same page. And she had asked, like, do you believe that? And I said, well, kind of, but not really. Like, it really depends on how you take it. Like, if you can just respect, his wishes and not take them personally and let him be who he is and not hold resentment, then I don't think it impacts things negatively. But I think if you judge and hold resentment and feel, unsupported and really focus on that lack of support, then I think it can worsen things, right?
Yeah. The dairy was rough though, because a lot of what we like to do together are like little happy hours where we like put out cheese and charcuterie and stuff. So that was a little bit challenging. And we love to just kind of, not cheat, but like just enjoy Mexican with like sour cream.
I remember that from your food diaries. It's funny, like as we were talking, I'm like, I just remember the food diaries with like the Mexican food. And I was like, we gotta like just focus on the guacamole. But that was hard, but you did it and it paid off. So, I mean, why don't you share? So I want like what made the biggest impact for you on this journey? You kind of wrote things here about going through the 23andMe data. You've been working at a clinic and doing all the testing, and they just said there was no issues, that you were just unlucky for having 2 miscarriages in a row, right? So talk about that a little bit. Like that must have made
Yeah,
you
I
feel pretty
mean,
helpless as well and
yeah,
frustrated.
I mean, that was so frustrating because it was like, okay, what can the medical establishment, this specialized clinic tell me about the
Yeah.
case? And the answer was nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to say nothing. It was helpful to know that there was no underlying issue that they found. And for me, for the anxiety that I was feeling, it was huge to just be able to like eliminate any other causes and get that off the table. But then when the doctors are like, well, you're just unlucky, we
Yeah.
don't know. It's like, what would I have done otherwise,
I
if I
don't
hadn't
know.
been
You
working
would
with
have
you,
kept on
you know?
having, I think, some losses, to be
Yeah.
honest. Or maybe,
Yeah.
I
Cause I
mean,
wouldn't have made any changes. I would
yeah.
have just been like, well, I'm healthy,
Well, and even
let's
like,
just
yes,
see
you
what
can get
happens.
pregnant. Like I had written that several years ago, and there's a section in the back about the autoimmune thyroid and what to do, but it's not a
Mm-hmm.
huge focus, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
the egg quality diet wasn't out yet when we were working together, but body belief was, and that's when I was really
Mm-hmm.
kind of catching on to the autoimmune aspect of things and the change, the kind of more aggressive changes we needed to make, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing like over and over again. It was similar cases to you. Girls would be like, oh, I read yes you can get pregnant, I'm doing all the things, but I still have all these symptoms, I still don't feel my best. And it was like something
Mm-hmm.
else is up.
Mm-hmm.
You had a known celiac, and then you had just gotten the Hashis. A lot of girls will come to me and they have those issues, and they don't have them diagnosed, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
we adjust things. But yeah, I think you would have eventually figured it out because you're an advocate for yourself. But I do think we came together at a very critical time because your fertility, I think, really improved. All of a sudden you were starting to get pregnant pretty regularly,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, now we need. And I do think, and I hear what you say, but I do think that the baby aspirin probably had an impact as well. I mean,
Yeah.
we suspect, right?
Yeah.
You'll do it again if you have another
Yeah.
pregnancy. Yeah.
Actually, about the
Yeah.
baby aspirin, I remember mentioning it. I don't know if it was my OBGYN or if it was
It's
the doctor at the clinic. I said, well,
actually
this is what
both.
I'm doing in my first trimester. Actually, I think it was the fertility clinic.
Yeah, I
And they
think so.
said, oh, well, you have the MTFHR, so just keep doing that.
Yep. I
So they
remember.
seemed,
Because
and
I
when I
remember,
asked
yeah, you
about that,
felt really supported. Um, yeah, because here it is, 14 weeks, heard the heartbeat 3 times, did all the genetic testing. It's a boy. I'm so happy and exciting. You did have some more dairy. You incorporated dairy back in that second trimester. I think that's good for everybody to hear, though, too, of like,
yes.
and I had said to you, just let's get through the first trimester and then we can play around with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were getting more allergy, sneezy, runny nose
Yeah.
symptoms, postnasal drip, itchy skin.
Yeah.
And so I think, what did I say? Those reactions to dairy tell me your body isn't loving it. So I'd still urge in pregnancy to keep it to only a few servings a week, keep it full fat and organic. And then, yeah. And then, that's right. You were reading Gabby's Super Attractor book too. So cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's another piece of it too, of the mental, emotional, like support. Like you and I were working through things. You had a therapist, but you were also educating yourself on that spiritual level too. And how do you feel like that was helping with the anxiety around like all the uncertainty in your life at that time?
Oh, it was so helpful. Very helpful. I remember even with the miscarriages, what was the book? Spirit
Oh,
Babies?
spirit babies. Yes.
Yes. That was so beautiful. It was so helpful. And just kind of on a deep level, it helped me relax
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in, meditations and things, like I would just have, like just visions that really contributed to some positive emotions that helped me cope with the challenges. But at the same time, I think that, with a lot of these, spiritual books about, manifestation and attracting and positive thinking, I think that's really important. But at the same time, it's critical to let yourself feel the negative feelings.
100%.
So after the second miscarriage, a friend sent me the book, It's Okay That You're Not Okay.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And I really needed that time to
Yeah, I
feel
think you
those
need the permission, right?
emotions.
To
Yep.
grieve and be angry and be sad. Yeah, I'm not about, what do they call it? Toxic positivity, right?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
shoving it down your throat.
Yep.
not helpful at all.
No.
And if you listen really close to the spiritual teachers like Abby or Abraham Hicks, who's, you know, I'm a big fan of, or even
Mm-hmm.
Deepak, a lot of it is of like, they talk about acceptance, like accepting what is. So that
Mm-hmm.
kind of does translate to that, like sitting with what is so that it starts to dissolve and creates less resistance. But you do have to hit the acceptance in order, I think, to then manifest
Yep.
and create it
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah, so I think I picked up Gabby's book, Super Attractor. It was like after the new year. And I was like, okay, I've done a lot of grieving. I've sat with it. So I'm ready now to read a book like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, and then we found each other. We did your progenomics. I'm like looking all the way back to our original emails. And then,
The
we
Pure
shifted things.
Genomics was incredible.
The what?
The Pure Genomics.
I know. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know too, like when, what Luciana did was she coached privately with me. And so with that, she gets access to the eCourse, the online community. And then we do a bunch of testing. So we did the 23andMe genetic test and I run it through Pure Genomics. The Dutch test. Did you ever do that? I don't think you still have it, don't you? Probably. Or did we never send it? Oh, I might have. Sometimes we refund and don't send. Or it might have been, maybe I didn't add it in. No, it was last year. Did I have the Dutch and everyone? Anyway, now I do the 23andMe, so the Pure Genomics report. So that's all your genetics. I'm throwing in a biological age test now too by Thorne, which actually shows what your biological age is versus your genetic age. So ideally, I want to do like one at the beginning and then one at like 3-month mark so people can see how much, how many years they've taken off of their genetic age. And then we do the Dutch, the hormonal test too. But I feel like with you, we probably refunded you because you were pregnant and then you got pregnant again pretty quickly thereafter. But I can go back and look and see. So what else do you want to share with everybody? Because I mean, you were there once with all the anxiety and stress about were you ever going to get to the other side, and now you have baby Leonardo. And yes, go ahead, share with.
Yeah. No, I think just being kind to yourself. I think that's the biggest key to all of this. And, I say that in, being kind and taking the time you need to feel that anxiety and feel the sadness and the grief. I remember after the first miscarriage, we were in the thick of COVID and I was like, I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to do anything. And I'm usually a very extroverted person. And I felt like COVID kind of allowed me to, say no and not see anyone. But otherwise, I would have had to just be very clear with my boundaries on that. So I think being kind to yourself when you aren't feeling well, but then, when you are in a place to feel good and you're ready, just allowing yourself to be open and like feeling that joy. And I think, one of the clearest times where I was like, okay, I'm ready to have positive expectations. It was last Halloween. And basically a lot of my friends who have children said, oh, come over, we're going to have a little party. We're going to take the children trick-or-treating. And of course I'm there with all my friends who have their adorable kids. And I wasn't even pregnant yet. And I'd just come off 2 losses, but I was like, you know what? I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I'm going to have a great time.
And
so
you were
my
pregnant
husband,
a week later though, by the way.
Yeah. So, my husband and I, we dressed up and we had a great time and I played with all the kids and, took photos. And I just thought, I can't wait until my baby is here with all of these kids.
Yeah. Yeah. You shifted that from a place of lack to a place of like positive expectation and excitement.
Yeah.
And that was it. I think you felt it too. I mean, you were frustrated and worried and traumatized. I mean, miscarriages are freaking traumatizing, and it's like, it's a double-edged sword. You can't wait to get pregnant again, but you're scared shit to get pregnant again. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's, but you were able to kind of shift that mindset and just dive in. And I think too, like you hit that place of like, okay, I've looked under every stone. Like I'm doing all the things I need to do. I have all the support I need. And for you, it was a really quick turnaround. I feel like, we did 3 coaching sessions and we're saving 2 for another time.
Yep.
which is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
not all my girls, you know, get to nail it that quickly, but I felt like you did. You came to me already so empowered and educated and just ready, very ready.
Hmm. And I think the looking under every stone,
Yeah.
that was the key for me,
Yeah.
because I was like, you know, a lot of times I do get the anxiety, I get stuck in my head, but I was like, if I can eliminate all of these other things, then I can really focus on, you know, what I can do
Yeah.
to keep moving forward.
Well, and that's, I find, the key with miscarriage recovery, if you will, especially in the next pregnancy. And I know we talked about it, of like, make a list of the things like we've uncovered and we are supporting, and like how we're doing it differently this time around, basically, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can kind of rest on that. Like, okay, I've checked that box. I've checked that box. And that
Mm-hmm.
was for you too, the simple things of like just getting our thyroid checked again, and, you know, during the
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy, taking the baby aspirin, asking a lot of questions, you know, getting everybody on board.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yep.
how is motherhood treating you?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. And the baby, he came a month
He
early,
came a month early, and I love
which
that part of the
was,
story too. That he was so healthy and strong, he didn't even need NICU.
yep,
Um, that speaks volumes to your health.
yes.
Yeah,
It was amazing. And it was, I mean, it was such a shock because we had just moved and we were like, oh, we have 6 weeks, you know, set up our house. And then baby comes. It's like, nope, baby's coming 2 weeks after, right away. He was ready. I mean, I went into labor.
yeah.
We knew it was going to be a C-section
Right.
because he was breech. But I went into labor and there we went. And I remember the first night, I mean, we left our house at 8 p.m. thinking, oh, they're probably just going to send us home. You know, this is a test run, no big deal.
Right.
He was born at 10:50 p.m. So it was that fast. And, you know, I remember they took him to just monitor his breathing the first night. So my husband and I were in the postpartum recovery room and we were like, what just happened?
Yeah. Wow.
It was kind of a shock, but then it was like any worries I had about like work, because I was expected to be at meetings the next day. Um, you know, all of that, it just melted away so fast.
Yeah.
Any worries I had about setting up our house, it was just like, nope, I'm a mom. This is it.
Yeah.
And it was just, I feel like I kind of like fell into this place of grace. And I was just like, I'm here. Maternity leave starts now. Here we go.
And then there was some issues with milk production, right? And we messaged
Yes.
that quite a bit. And
Yes.
and you said that too. You just kind of, I just was like, get back on all the things. And that's basically what you did. And you pumped a lot too. It was like, pump it 20 minutes after every feed, right? That's what my baby nurse taught me, worked. What was that? Yeah, when difficult getting my milk supply, I went to Amy for advice and went back to getting my spirulina, cod liver oil, and liver pills combined with lots of pumping. And then my milk supply came in, because I had even said I could get you some herbs if you want. And you were like, let me try these things. And then, right?
Yep.
And how long did you breastfeed for?
So it took me a month of pumping to get my milk in.
Wow.
So it was a lot. And at the end of the month, I was like, if this doesn't work, I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Yeah.
But then it came in.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. How old is the little guy now?
He's 3 months.
So you're still breastfeeding. That must feel good. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Aww. And how's your body feel?
Feels good. It's healing.
Good.
It's recovering.
Good.
I'm feeling good. I'm getting more sleep now, which is nice.
Good.
And my husband goes back to work next week. Wow. So then it'll be just me with baby, and I'm going to kind of focus on getting exercise in again.
Good. Good. Yeah. And then do the C-section scar recovery. Have you been doing that stuff that I have in there?
Actually, no.
For the new mama guide, because you should have a copy of that
yes,
somewhere.
I do.
Yeah. Go to the C-section scar recovery, because there's that little AccuDerma roller. It's kind of like a little roller that has like little tiny needles. You put castor oil over the scar and roll the scar up and down like this way and this way, and it'll make it just, you won't even see it.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even have one of my girls just had like a second. I guess she's like 6 months old, or he's 6 months old. And so 2 C-sections. And she did it the first time around, and she's doing it the second time around. It's like legit, like there's no scar there. It's kind of crazy. And she's only 6 months out, and it's the second time they went into the same scar. So that's another nice perk of working with me. I have this new mama guide that I spent a long time putting together for everybody. All right. Well, this was so lovely. Thank you so much. So any parting words to anybody listening in who needs some inspiration, hope? from a lady who gets it?
Gosh, just to say, I mean, really, that yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get pregnant. You
Aw,
know, like it's so powerful.
yeah.
And it's like, that's just such a powerful phrase. And,
Yeah.
you know, like I know Obama used it too, but like I really feel it.
Yeah.
You know, like if
Yeah.
you try and if you're there and if you know, do the work, you
Yeah.
know, do the emotional work,
Yeah.
do, you know, the things and, you know, treat yourself with kindness and
Yeah.
compassion.
Yeah.
You can get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love
With
that.
amazing support, you know, from
Yeah.
Amy. And I had support. I had a therapist. I found a really good endocrinologist.
Yep.
A woman. I had like this man before. He was not very helpful. So I was like, I'm going to find someone that, you know, treats me with compassion,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah.
Well, that, and I think that translates like to advocating for yourself,
Yeah,
right? You
exactly.
know, and you invested in yourself too, which I think takes a leap of faith and action, and just shows a commitment, though, right? You were all in, and
Yes.
yeah, it was and still is an honor to work with you, and it was fun to see the fast turnaround too,
Oh,
and to
thank you. It was
support
an
you.
honor to work with you.
Oh, I mean it. You know, it was like
Yeah.
to support you through that early stages of the pregnancy too, because that's the scariest part. It really is. You know,
Yeah.
especially if you've had losses. It's like, is this gonna work?
Yep.
Didn't I send you to the fertility clinic? I was like, go there for the betas. You went to the OBGYN. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
you had already had the relationship with the fertility clinic too. So it was like, they're the best. They'll give such good attention to detail those first 8 weeks. So
Yeah.
yay. All right, my love. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming live and for sharing with everybody your story.
Of course.
As you know, you watched these stories of hope back in the day. It just helps so many women kind of like see real life people and what they've done. And, you know, you really did step into your power. I mean, I think you always were. You know, when I met you, you were already a powerful rock star. But, you know, it's just that thing of like owning it all. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leonardo's lucky.
Absolutely.
Lucky to have a mama like you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Amy. I love working with you.
Aw, same love. All right, guys. So, oh wait, Beth, am I supposed to give away another scholarship right now? I forgot. Let's see what she says. But if you want, you can close out, Luciana, and then I'll send you an email later just thanking you.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Have
Thank
fun,
you.
Mama. We'll
Bye.
see you soon. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. If I want to, I can give away another scholarship. Let's see. Well, who's still on? Okay, people start dropping some hearts if you're still on, and let me see. Or comments. I see that there's still a handful of people still on. So if you want, now, I mean, in the comments, so I can actually see your name knowing that you're still here. And let's, all right, there we go. Let's let people roll in. Let's see who we I needed you to these real estate. All right, you guys are cute. Carmi 75. Let's see. Here we go. Gina Marie Lee, are you in our eCourse or no? You just follow live, right? Or Beth, can you tell us? Because your name is familiar. I mean, you were just on one of the other ones before. Let me see. Ladies, get in on this. It's so worth it. Oh, thank you, Laura. Been following for so long, would be honored. Thank you for all you do. You guys are so sweet. You're not in the eCourse. Okay, so now you are, young lady. Gina Marie, it's you. And it's always spontaneous, guys. It's no offense if you didn't get picked. You have we have lots more to give away over the next couple of days. Okay. You are on here a lot. Well, now I'm going to see you in office hours next week. So just DM us on the back end, and Beth and my team will get you set up. And you are the scholarship winner for the eCourse. Oh, you're welcome. And for those of you that want to know more about the eCourse, and you know, Luciana did the master level where she worked privately with me, but there are plenty of girls that just do the eCourse basic and get similar results, because you get weekly Q&As with me every single week in our private community. So you still get my feedback. And then we also do have a mid-level package where you get 2 coaching consults with my fertility coach associates who are also equally amazing that I work with on a weekly basis to go over cases. So there are plenty of ways for you to get the support, but check out the eCourse, amyrupp.com/yes. And I think I will be live again in about 4 hours with another story of hope from another case of mine that, yeah, had a long haul to get to mamahood, but she did it. And you're welcome, Gina Marie. Thank you all. And okay, I love you guys. I'll see you later. Ciao for now.